One of the first things you want to do when you first come to a trout stream is determine whether you have surface activity or not. Today I'm not seeing any surface activity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the bottom of the river. I'm going to use a nymph, which I have a generic nymph here, with a piece of split shot, and way up on the other end here I have a strike indicator. I'm going to try to get down to the bottom. That's the beginning. Now as I see surface activity begin, then I'll change my rig up to either an emerger system or a dry fly. Now the spot I've chosen is two currents here. It's called a seam. You got fast water meeting slow water. And what that causes is a spot where the fish will lay where it's almost a void. It doesn't take a whole lot of energy for the fish to lay there. So this is where I'm going to place my fly, along the seam, right along here. I'm going to try to dead drift it and follow along with the rod tip.
It's important to keep the cast short and lift the line up off the water. Follow along with the rod tip at the same speed the indicator is traveling on the surface. It's as important to have a drag-free drift when fishing a nymph as it is when fishing a dry fly.
I think I might put a little more weight on here. I don't think I'm quite making it to the bottom fast enough.
Use the minimum amount of split shot or weight to get your fly down. Too much and you will continuously hang up on the bottom. Too little and you are out of the feeding zone. You must constantly adjust your weight and rig to match water conditions. This is fundamental when nymphing.
If you don't hang up once in a while, you're not deep enough.
You need to use minimum amount of line, keep as much off the water as possible, and closely follow its path downriver, continuously mending and adjusting the drift to ensure your fly appears natural to the trout.
Ooh, that was a fish. There we go. Fish on.
Water visibility is generally good. It varies from clear with a slight greenish tinge to brownish and turbid when running high after heavy rainfall. Thankfully for anglers, if the waters are high and stained, these conditions do not last long as the system seems to quickly return to normal within a few days.
Now what I did, folks, was I just followed along with the tip, and as soon as the indicator made a move, I set the hook. And we have what's commonly called a bugle trout. It's a sucker.
You know your fly is in the right zone if you start catching species such as suckers. Suckers will coexist with trout in the same lies, and they will readily move to a nymph if given the opportunity.
And he just took my fly on me. Well, it wasn't the right species, but it's some action. It can save the day sometimes, them suckers.
There are some basic principles for nymphing which all anglers should know. One of the primary concepts is the 2-to-1 rig, which states that for every 1 foot of water, you should have 2 feet of line between your fly and the indicator. Thus, if you are fishing in 4 feet of water, the distance between your fly and the indicator should be at least 8 feet. Of course, these are just guidelines. The key is adapting to conditions as you fish different stretches. Don't keep using the same setup in all situations.